So let's talk about email now, because I know that social media may not be something that our corporate clubs can really do, but we can all send email out, whether we're a community club or a corporate club. I divided this email section into two categories. So the first one here, what you see is a touch-based email. What do I mean by that? You probably have people on your guest list, and your guest list is a gold mine. Let me say that. When we're always trying to think about how to grow our clubs, how to get new people to visit us, you probably have a guest list that goes back how many years? Like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years? Who has that list in your club? Ideally, the VP of membership should be keeping track of that list. The VP of membership should be entering the guests into free toast host. If your club uses that for your website, there's an area you can enter the guest name and email address in so that it lives there. So that no matter who comes in as the VP of membership next year, the next year, the next year, that list is in there and they can email them. But I'll show you screenshots of that on the next slides. Send a simple touch-based email to start to your entire guest list. You may not have done that so far this year. We're still early in the year. Tell them Happy New Year. These are just some guidelines. Hey, Happy New Year. You haven't talked to them, so you can still wish them Happy New Year. Who's going to get mad at Happy New Year? Tell them what's new with your club. Do you have a special event coming up? Anything like that? Let them know. Did your club have an anniversary recently? Are you doing something that's different now, maybe that you didn't before? Let them know. Share photos in that email. Give them a couple photos. Let them know what you guys are doing. It's good for them to have a visual. Remind them of the Toastmasters benefits, okay? Whether you're in a corporate club or community club, everybody has different goals for why they join Toastmasters. There's actually a PDF that's called Toastmasters Benefits. So if you do need that, let us know and we can make sure that you get that. But you want to remind them of some of the benefits of joining the club. Invite them to your next meeting. Give them a call to action. Don't just leave them with all this great info. Actually give them something to do, which in this case is we want you to visit us at our next meeting. It's still free to visit. And have a clear contact for the club. Who can they reach out to? Ideally, again, the VP of membership will have sent this email out, so their info should be with the email. But if it's a different person for some reason, put them in there. So this is what I'm talking about when I am referring to put the guest information into free toast host. I know not every club uses free toast host, but I think the majority of us do in District 46. So what you would want to do is step one, you'll see this on the left side of your website. Launch the admin console. Whoever is your website administrator has the ability to do this. Launch the admin console. Officers can also do this as well. They can log in through their regular member login and they can put information in. The officers can do that. You would go to the membership management. You would scroll down to that. Once you're in there, you're going to see that the guest tab is highlighted. This is where all the guests that have been entered in the system live, that have been entered over the years. So this is just a screenshot of how my clubs looks on the back end. Our guests from, I don't know, it could be going back like 5 and 10 years, quite honestly, some of these people here. So I checked them off. I selected them all. And then on the right, you see that I'm going to send them a basic email. So I'm going to send them all an email in one shot. I don't have to do this individually. And then here I'll type in what is the subject I want to use, the subject line to use, and the copy that I want to send them. And then you would hit send. I don't have the send image here. I just kind of crop the image, but you would click send. And that's it. It's going to make your life so much easier to have your guests living in this one area of your website. Past guests are a gold mine for being potential new members. So we don't want to just let this list die, so to speak. Next, when we talk about email, so I talked about sending a touch-based email. Let's look at sending an email newsletter, what's involved with that, because that's a special type of email. Here are some platforms that you can use to create the email, okay? You can use Canva, if some of you are familiar with that. Canva is an online platform. You can do a wealth of things with it. Newsletters, you can create social media images, you can create PowerPoint presentations in there. They don't call them PowerPoint, but presentations, business cards, all of that. Email marketing platforms. Maybe someone in your club has MailChimp, Constant Contact, or some other email platform where they can create the email and send it right from there. PowerPoint, Word, Publisher, all the Microsoft products you can use to create a newsletter. Google Slides, Google Documents. You know, with Google Slides, you can convert it to images, which is nice. Same thing with PowerPoint. You can take that slide, convert it to an image. If you want your newsletter to be a PNG or a JPEG image, anything like that, you can do that as well. So I wanted to give you some suggestions. I won't list everything here, but you can take a look. These are some examples of what you might include in your newsletter. Again, testimonials. A welcome message from the president is always good. New member showcase. If you have new members, give them some love. You might create an article. Who's a good writer in your club that could create a short article, like 3 virtual speaking mistakes to avoid? Virtual speaking is a big thing, as we know right now, but there are people who are still apprehensive about it. They don't like how they look on camera. They don't like how they sound. What are some tips you can provide? You can give them the year in review. What happened for your club last year in a snapshot? Maybe you can give them 4 or 5 of the highlights. You can include a fun game. Maybe you ask them a question that they need to answer because they have read the entire newsletter. That's a good way to ensure that somebody has read the newsletter. Maybe you ask them to find the random word, super silliest that you have embedded it somewhere in your newsletter. The first 2 people that respond, they could win a prize, something like that. These are just a few examples. Here are 2 examples of newsletter formats. You can do a Google search, Toastmaster newsletters. You're going to find a lot of different formats on the web, so don't feel like you have to use either of these here. The one on the left is My Club, one that we created. The President's Note, we had a new member in there, Andrea, so we had her. On the right, we have Lexington Vanderbilt. It's from a few years ago, but if you still want to use this format, it's up to you. I'd probably say add another image or 2 just to break up the text a little. But you see, these are just 2 different examples of newsletters.